Yeah, I want to ask you about schools. A big question, as you're well aware, I'm sure you're hearing from parents across the state of Maryland. There's a fight right now at the federal level. Donald Trump says schools must reopen in the fall. He's threatened to cut off federal funding. Obviously, these decisions will be up to people like you and local school districts. What did you make of the president's threat to cut off federal funding to schools if you don't reopen under his order?
That was very unfortunate, and I really don't know what prompted such a remark. We had a great discussion on Monday with all the nation's governors and the National Governors Association. We had the Vice President led the call. Dr. Robert Redfield was on there, laying out the CDC's suggested guidelines for states and local governments, and it was a productive discussion. I think, all of us, I think, are anxious to get our kids back to school, but we want to go about it in a safe way. And the guidelines that were put out by the CDC, I thought were helpful. Our state is also taking a look at listening to the scientists. We're including all of the teachers, the stakeholders, all of our local boards of education with the state board are reviewing and coming up with a plan. And the federal government had given some good suggestions. And then I have no idea what it was that the president was concerned about or why he didn't like the CDC report. Or what this threat was about, but it really was not helpful to the discussion. I think everybody should be on the same page. We want to keep our kids safe, and we want to try to get people back to school in a safe way.
To be clear, Governor, about how our education system works in this country, will your decisions about reopening schools be impacted at all by the rhetoric of the president, or is it a decision that's made at the state and local level?
It's really made at the state and local level, and so our state superintendent of schools and our state school board, which is independent of the governor's office, we try to take the politics out of it. They work with the local boards of education in all of our counties and in the city of Baltimore, and they take input from the scientists, the doctors, the teachers, the parents. They try to gather all the information, give flexibility to the various jurisdictions to make the decisions that are right for their communities, and that's the way it's going to be done. While we appreciate input from the CDC and from the federal government, we're not going to be bullied or threatened by the president, and I don't think that's helpful for him to make those kinds of comments.
So fair to say a threat to cut off federal funding will not impact your decisions?
I don't think we're going to have federal funding cut off, and it's the last thing we should be talking about right now. As chairman of the National Governors Association, we're pushing, as your last guest was talking about, we desperately need more assistance to state and local governments so that we can not have drastic cuts to education, and so we can continue to pay our teachers and our police officers and firefighters and our healthcare workers and frontline workers. So we're in need of more federal funding, not less federal funding, and that's it's something that all of the governors are united in fighting for.